Hi, it's Stacy with As the Tea Brews. Today I wanted to make a film about something that I told you I was going to do and I completely forgot about until last night. I was laying in bed thinking about it, and that is to show you how to use this tea leaf reading cup that I got for my birthday several months ago, 6 months ago. I showed it to you kind of as a, I don't remember. There was a video that I showed it to you. I think some things that I had gotten recently or things that I had gotten for my birthday or forgotten to show you. Anyhow, so I have used it. I did try using it. There's two ways that you can use this cup, and this is called the Cup of Destiny, and I believe there are a lot of different fortune telling cups out there. To do tea leaf reading, you don't even need a real, fortune cup with all the symbols in it. You can just use a plain cup, and there's different ways to do this. I've watched lots of videos, I've looked at lots of blogs, and read lots of articles on this because it's really interesting to me. I just think it's fun, and I enjoy tea, and so I figure, well, why not just kind of enjoy both of them together? This is purely for entertainment, and do not take this in any other way than that, I suppose. Okay, so with this particular cup, the book that it came with talks about two different ways to use it, and the easiest one, and this is the only one that I've done so far, is the Cup of Destiny game. And basically, this book says your Cup of Destiny can be used in two ways. It can be used as a simple fortune telling game with this, or you can actually ignore all those symbols and look for shapes in the tea leaves, and then there's a whole separate section on what those shapes mean. But the game, just basically wherever your tea leaves fall on which designs and pictures, those are the ones that you look in here and you read. So you don't have to look into it and figure out, designs or pictures or drawings or anything like that. And so that's just kind of the easy way, and that's what I'm going to do today. I do want to practice the other way also, but I think I'll use a plain cup instead of this cup, and then so that all these little lines on here don't get in the way of the pictures that the tea leaves might make, and then use the book to figure out those symbols. So if I get that figured out, I'll do another video later. So what I have read there are lots of different ways to go about this. The way I am going to do this basically is with loose tea, a teapot with no filter. Okay, this is a For Life teapot, and it's just a plain little white one. It has a nice little filter in it. I believe this is about 16 ounces. And so I'm going to use that teapot. I'm going to use a honeybush tea. They say there's different theories about this. You can use just a plain tea. You don't want to use one that's too fine because it'll kind of get muddied in there. And you don't want to use one that's leaves will unfurl too big because it might get stuck in the teapot, or it might, I guess it doesn't work as well. So some people will use a tea with just tea leaves in it, and then other people say that they like the variation of little different fruits and bits and stuff. And so I am going to go with the little fruits and bits in there. This is pumpkin pie chai from Old Barrel Tea Company, and this is a newer one that I got a couple weeks ago, and I am going to show you what it looks like. Okay, this is the tea, and it has honeybush, licorice root, cloves, pumpkin, safflower, cinnamon bark, cardamom, ginger, cocoa shells, and natural flavors. Okay, so there are two different ways that people do this. Some people will put the tea directly in the teacup and pour the hot water in, let it steep in there, and then drink it. We tried that shortly after I got this when I had some friends over a long time, months and months ago, but it was kind of hard to drink through the tea leaves, and so I read that another way to do it is just to use a pot, and this is actually what this book recommends, using a pot, and put the tea leaves in here, no filter, and you want to make sure that there's no built-in filter too, to prevent things from coming out. And then you pour it in, and some of it will come out and some of it won't. If you pour it and you find that a lot of it does not come out, I don't remember if I read it in this book or if I saw it online somewhere, but it says to take a small pinch of your tea and just drop it in your cup before you start drinking, and then that will help with the leaves being in your cup. So, okay, this is a different angle than I normally film, so hopefully this works. I am going to use a teaspoon measuring spoon, and I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of this tea into my pot, and then I'm going to add hot water, and this says 2 teaspoons per 8 ounces of hot water, so I'm actually going to add a little bit more. I'll just do 3, and maybe I won't fill my pot up quite all the way. Okay, I have water at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. I filled up my pot about 3/4 of the way. Okay, now we're really getting at a weird angle here. Okay, so I set a timer for 5 minutes, and I am going to wait for that to steep before I pour it into my cup. I also want to add that you can actually do this with coffee. There's a lot of countries that they drink coffee more than tea, and so they do the readings with coffee. And I believe I read it actually started with reading wine sediments thrown into bowls a long time ago, hundreds of years ago. They would read the sediments from the wine, and so it doesn't have to be tea. It could be coffee grounds, and it could be any kind of tea you really choose, as long as the leaves are able to go into the cup and move around in there and make some shapes or land in different spots. I also read that it's okay to add sugar or honey, cream if you want. It doesn't really matter. Drink your cup of tea or coffee the way that you normally would. And what you want to do as you're drinking it is to just kind of reflect and meditate and enjoy the tea, and just use it as a time of peaceful reflection. You know, and that way the tea leaves will kind of be guided by your I guess your attitude and the way that you're thinking and feeling that day. And so that's how you're supposed to get the most meaningful tea reading experience. And a lot of people will do this in a group, and everybody will have their own cup of tea and enjoy in some light chatter and enjoy each other's company. Okay, so today I am only going to add some honey to mine. I may add some cream, but probably not. Okay, and this honey is from Old Barrel Tea Company, and this is the same honey I've used in the last couple videos. And this is sunflower honey, and it's really good. I like it a lot. I didn't used to add honey to my teas, but I've been adding it a lot more lately since finding out about a lot of the health benefits. And so I've been finding with the Old Barrel Tea Company teas, that their teas are enhanced by a little bit of honey. So I will be back to show you my teacup after it is done brewing. Okay, my time is up, so I am going to, this can steep for a little bit longer, but I'm impatient, so I'm just going to do it now. Hopefully I get some, oh yeah, I'm getting some nice leaves in there, so I don't think I'll have to add anything else. And I'm going to add a little bit of honey. I tried this tea plain, and I think I prefer a little bit of honey in it. So I've got my little honey thing. I didn't used to know how to use these, and then I learned you dip it in and you twist it. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then that stops it from dropping, and then you can move it, add your honey, twist it again, and then you put it back in and you don't spill any honey. I'm just going to stir my honey in. Okay, so now the book says, as you drink, muse on your current concerns or keep your mind blank. Step outside your everyday world and clear your mind. Once you have nearly finished your drink, you can focus more specifically on a question, or ask the powers that be, your higher self or guiding spirit, to reveal what the near future holds in store. It says if you were drinking coffee, you could add a tiny Pinch of fresh ground beans to the liquid in the cup to ensure a satisfying pattern. Okay, so then after you drink, you circle the cup 3 times counterclockwise with your left hand and turn it over to allow it to drain. I am going to drink my tea and then I will be back. Okay, so I've pretty much finished my tea. There's just a little bit of liquid left and you need about a small amount in there just so you can swirl the tea leaves in it. And I did find that some of this tea was kind of floating up to the top and I had to strain it out with my lips a little bit. So it'll probably take some experimentation to find out which teas are the most enjoyable that you don't have to strain out through your lips, but which ones will stay at the bottom the best. So what it says to do, okay, 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then I did see some videos where people would actually kind of like swirl the tea like this instead of spinning it, and so I'm not exactly sure which way is the correct way. And then you need to flip it over, hopefully not break anything or make a big mess, onto the plate. So here I go. Okay, and then you let your extra liquid drain out, and I might have had a little too much liquid because some of it sloshed out. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so there's just a little bit left in there. Now if I were doing the other kind where I want to see the shapes, this tea would not be good for that, so I'll have to keep that in mind. But I think for today's exercise it should be good. Some of this stuff I think is from when I was drinking it. That kind of came up as I was drinking, so I'm not sure if I should have pushed that back down or not, but I'll just pretend like it is there because it's supposed to be there. I'm just going to use this little book here and see what the symbols mean. And it says the rim, the symbols on the top, refer to things in the near future, usually the coming week or 10 days, sometimes up to a month away, but no more than that. So what I have this in, it's on the most of these 2 symbols right here. So it's got like a bell and then an ace of spades. So the bell says some happy news. Sometimes this means you will be making positive changes in your life. So that's good. And then the ace of spades says legal matters, official documents, large companies, and serious commitments are all signified by this symbol. Actions and agreements made now could have a lasting or fateful effect on your future. Be thoughtful and cautious. So I don't really know what that could refer to, but that's what it says in the book. And then I've got, let's see, I've got a couple more on just a couple little pieces here and a couple little pieces here. So that one is the diamond, ace of diamonds. It actually says an important time for your goals, ambitions, and life direction. Expect positive developments and increased self-confidence. And then the cat, your independent streak and free spirit seek an outlet now, and you may feel like behaving unpredictably. Be adventurous and follow your heart. Okay, so I'd say those were the ones that the tea landed on the most. There's a tiny little one on the horseshoe and a little bit on the cup here. I would think that what I want to pay attention to most would be the ones that the tea is on the most. And so those were the first 2 ones that I read. Now it says the inner circle. Anyone familiar with astrology will recognize these as planetary symbols. Each planet traditionally signifies personal attributes and areas of life. These symbols deal with larger themes than those found around the rim and refer to events over the coming weeks and months. And so for this one, most of those tea leaves are down in the bottom, but there is one here for Mercury. And this one, it's not very much in there. I'd say Mercury would be the one that it's the most. And Mercury says communication, conversations, travel, and knowledge. This should be a social, lively phase. With COVID, we can't really be super social, but it's nice to think about that. And then I guess maybe I'll read this one too, just because there is a little bit on that one. And that one's Jupiter, and it says luck, expansion, and heartwarming encounters brighten your life. Long distance friendships or trips could broaden your horizons too. So I'm not really planning on taking any long distance trips unless we go in the motorhome, just because, you know, of the pandemic and everything. But who knows what that means. It would be fun just to ponder on those and to think about it and to see how they might apply to me personally. But other than that, this is just for fun. It's just a game. And I think that really any of us could pick out any of the symbols in here and find some way to apply it to our lives, because that's just, we all have so many different things going on in our lives at all times. So the bottom here, I think you're supposed to read this, like if you read this, you're not supposed to read this, but I'm not positive about that. I couldn't quite figure out that these are the astrological signs, and so I'm not exactly sure if you're only, how you're supposed to read this. So I'll have to look into that more. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in the tea leaf reading aspect, with all the shapes that you try and make out the shapes, once I figure that out, let me know in the comments below. If you've ever used any of these cups, then let me know also in the comments below. If I did something wrong, let me know, because I don't know what I'm doing, you guys. I'll admit it. I have no idea. This is just something that I thought would be a lot of fun. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye.